Hey guys, some people have asked me to make a video about styling things and I wanted to do just that. So in this video we're going to be styling our inventory, and I'm not the styling expert myself, but at least I can show you how to create some materials and how we can manage the widgets that we created. So first thing, if you were to play the game and open your inventory, you can see these inventory icons are a little bit blunt. They don't have any borders or anything. This doesn't have any border. This is a little bit out of line. And our equipment slots, we could actually set the image to show what item we need to equip to it. So we're going to be doing all of that. First thing, if you go to your third-person blueprints, widgets, and open your inventory icon, here at the moment we got this border that only separates the inventory icons. If you were to select it and remove the padding, all our inventory icons would be together. So obviously that's how you can, spread them out. But what I want to do is add the frame, and I actually created a frame in Photoshop. It's very simple, but it has some, styling on the corners as well. So you can download it in the link in the description, or you can create your own. And once you import it, just select this image on this border and add that frame icon frame. Now we can't see it because the padding is 0, so we'll change padding to 4. That will give us enough space to show it, but it's very dark, so I'll change this tint to something lighter. The good thing about this border is it's almost white, so you can change it to color, any color you would want. If you like, you could also connect the rarity color to this, so it would show what kind of rarity items you got in this inventory icon. But I want to have mine just white. And now if you were to play the game, you would have a frame, but they are still all together. So to separate them, what we can do is click on this canvas panel, right click, and we'll wrap this with size box. And we don't have to change anything here. It just allows us to have a padding here on the canvas panel, and it's the outside padding, so we'll just change it to 6, and that will give us nice spaces between the inventory slots. But as you can see, this border was set to certain width and height, so it doesn't resize. To fix that, what we can do is open our inventory. In here we will select the canvas panel that holds the inventory. We will check size to content. We will also select the border inside, and we will size to content as well. Even though it disappeared there, we have it here and it's resizing, but we do have an offset here, 50 pixels, so we can fit the weight and coins here. So to fix that, what we can do is select this border, and we will anchor it to the top left. Just click on it, and now you can see it will resize correctly to how many inventory slots we have. And I also want to have a little bit more space here on the side and on the bottom. So to do that, select this border again and change the padding from 5 to 10. That will give us a bit more space. And now I want to do one more thing. I want to create a border for this whole inventory as well. So we can't set it anywhere here on the canvas panel, so we can right click and we'll wrap it with another border. And this border we can change the padding to 4, and either you can change the color to tint what you want, but you can also select the frame for the icons that you imported, the same one, and then we just can make it a little bit darker. And now if you play the game, you do have nice border around the inventory and around the icons as well, so it looks a little bit better. Now this is a little bit out of place. I want to move it a bit down and to the right and a bit closer together because we won't be that rich. So here you don't really see the borders anymore. Either you can uncheck this size to content, or you can just move it a bit down, and select these two by holding Control and clicking on them, and just move this down as well. Now make sure this is in line, so position Y is 24, position Y 24. This is actually a little bit different icon, so I'll do 25, and this text is 28 and 28. Now that looks a little bit better. Maybe actually I moved it too low. So position 22, 26, I'll move it 2 up, 23, 26. There we go. Now the inventory is looking good. What we can also do is this inventory icon. Usually people have some sort of gradient to kind of have a little highlight of the item. So to make a gradient in the Unreal Engine, we can go to our third person. Let's create a new folder here. This will be our materials. In here, right click, go to material and create new material. This will be an icon bg for background _m. Open it up. Now here select this node. Let's change it to user interface. And what you can do is hold 3 on a keyboard and click. That will create this color node. Hold it again 3 and click. So we can create 2. And now we can select some kind of gradient. If you just type in gradient, you got few options. You got diamond gradient, which is similar to circular, but it's kind of like a diamond shaped. You got linear, which goes from left to right or top to bottom. And what I want to use is the radial gradient exponential. Here I'll drag from here. We will do lerp, which is linear interpolate. We'll connect this to alpha instead. Alt click on this to disconnect it, and now connect the first one and second one. Now we'll lerp between 2 colors and connect it to final color. What this will look like is, I'll just change this quickly so we can see. Why it doesn't let me change it? There we go. So we got red color from outside and you got black color from inside, and we can make it so it's all the way around. This one will be white and this one will be just slightly grayish. Don't make it too strong, because then we will change the tint on it and it can be quite visible. So just a little bit, so somewhere in the, put it somewhere in the middle, maybe even that is too much. And we can also change the density here. What we need to connect is hold 1 on the keyboard and click. This will give you the value. You will connect it to density, and you can change density to 0.5. You can also play with this, with radius and center position and everything, but I just want to change density. Now we will apply and go to your inventory icon. Now this button, let's change it on a button. We will select the image. This will be icon BG. And tint, we can leave it and see what it looks like. And now you can see it actually looks quite nice. You got bit of a circle in the middle. You maybe can't see it too much as well. If you want, you can make it lighter either by changing tint, or here you can change it to even, you know, whiter colors as well, or make a bigger difference between these two, and that will show it. But I personally like it only a little bit like this, so it's not too strong on the eyes. And now if you were to pick up some items, they do have a slight highlight under them. So I think that looks quite nice. Now we can go to equipment slot and change those to actually display what we need to equip to them. For that, open your equipment slot in widgets. I have it open, and here we need to add new image. We will add it to this canvas panel. This will be equipment slot image. Make sure it's variable. We'll anchor it to the whole thing, so Control and Shift. But I will also want to have it a little bit smaller just in the middle, because that will look a little bit better. So I'll offset it to by 20. Let's see, that might be too much, but if you search for images, I do have some images that I'm using from other projects, but I can't share them, unfortunately. So again, there was a link in the description that you can download over 700 icons. So probably search for something there, or just literally type into Google, you know, all the equipment parts you need. I do have icons that look like this, and once you actually import it to your project, here you can change the tint. I'll change it to something darker, and I'll change the alpha channel to 0.5, so it kind of dissipates in the whole image. Maybe even 0.3. And if you were to play the game, this is what it will look like. So, you know, not too strong or anything, so it doesn't look like you got anything equipped, but just visible enough so you can see what equipment slot it is. So now to set them all, go to graph, create new variable. This will be equipment slot texture. We will change the type to texture 2D. Object reference. We will instance editable and expose on spawn. Compile and save. And now in your blueprints, widgets, and open equipment slot preview, this is where we have them all created. If you click on each of them, you got now equipment slot texture, because we made an instance editable, and you can set it here. So this one here on the side, it says head, so I'll search for I think it's helm. I'll set it to helm. This one is chest, so I'll set it. Hands. I'll show you after what my icons look like, so maybe you can get something similar. So hands are gloves. This one is pants. This one is also a little bit out of line, so position 12, position 12. Feet is boots, maybe boots. And then for main hand, I got weapon. And for offhand, I do have another weapon. Now you have them all set, but you're not actually showing it, so go to graph of the equipment slot, and here we can, before we checking if it's valid class, because we always want to show it, not just when there is an item equipped, we can get this equipment slot image. We'll set brush. We'll connect it here. Then make a slate brush. And in here we just need to connect the equipment slot texture to the image. Now, one thing, we need to connect the tint as well, otherwise it will reset the tint that we have there. So go back to your equipment slot designer, click on the button, and here copy this. No, actually, sorry, on this equipment slot image, and copy this tint. Go to graph and make slate color. And you can paste it here, so back to designer, open it up and copy this hex linear value. And now I opened the Visual Studios by accident, but while that opens, just paste it here. and now you will have the same tint. So when you play the game, it doesn't work because we're not calling it correctly. So we are calling it here after we check if it's valid class, but we need to just Ctrl X and paste it here, because as I said, we always want to show it, and this will handle the isValid class itself, so it doesn't matter. Now play the game, and you can see I got all the equipment slot icons. I think my inventory needs to be a little bit higher, so go back to inventory, and I'll move this whole border up once 180 maybe. And now one more thing we can change. Actually, I do want to move this character preview closer to here as well. So in your inventory, select this equipment slot box and move this closer to inventory. Oh, you know, you don't have to, but I think this looks better. And now one more thing we can change here in our tooltip widget. We could also show the rarity of the item, which we haven't done yet. And I also think it's a little bit too big, and I don't like some of the borders there, so I'm just going to change it a little bit. So I'm going to open the tooltip widget. In here, I'm going to change this image size to 110, 110. So I think it was too big. I'll change this font size to 22. I'll change this one to 14. And here I can just duplicate this. So select this text, Ctrl D to duplicate, drag this in here. Do justification to the right. And we can make it even smaller, so 12. I will change it to regular Roboto and italic. And now we can compile and save. Well, let's see. All of these we have done with bindings. And I mentioned in a previous video that bindings are not very good, but since we're only using it when the tooltip widget is open, it's fine. We can just bind this one as well. So we will bind this text, create binding, and all we have to do here is get item info, break it open, and get the rarity. We will need to convert it. So what is this, enum to string, and then we can connect it to text, compile and save. And there is one more thing I want to change, these inside borders. I don't want to have them there, but that's a personal preference. So I'll select the first, this border, and here on the padding I will remove the bottom. I will get rid of that one, and on this third border I'll remove the padding from top. There we go. Now if you play the game, collect some of these. Now you do have legendary, rare in the corner and stuff. Actually removed the whole wrong border, so I did the top, didn't I? Here, yeah, so top is 2, bottom is 0, and now this was a little bit too high up, so I'll move it position Y to 10 or 8. And now we got nice legendary, rare, and I think it looks a little bit better without the borders in the middle. And that's actually all the changes I wanted to do. One thing is, I just noticed that our items are not showing now. So go to your equipment slot. Let's check the Z order. This is -1, 0, 0. This is fine. Alright, okay, so the problem is here we are only setting the item info. After here we check if it's valid class and everything. So when we're calling this custom event, there is no icon, there is no item info, it's empty, so it doesn't have an icon set. So I was wrong, let's move it back to where it was, connect it here, but now we'll get this part, we'll Control X, and we'll paste it here. And connect it back. And don't forget to connect this custom event. Compile and save. Let's see if that works. Pick up some items, equip them, there we go. One thing we can do also, I do want to hide these icons. You can see they are behind when something is equipped. So when something is valid, when we have something equipped, so after here, after its valid class, we'll get this equipment slot image and set visibility to hidden. Alright, we'll just hide it when we got something equipped. So you can see them now, and now they're all gone, and once we remove it, they're back. Perfect. So that's all for this video. That's all I wanted to do in the styling things. Hope it helped you a little bit, you know, and then you can decide on your own design. One thing also I recommend, maybe here eventually we will make it so the alpha channel is 1, so it's not see-through, and then what I had a good luck with is just getting nice full image of some, you know, some battle or something in black and white, and then just doing it almost see-through on top of another background image, and it actually looked quite nice. But for now I don't want to complicate it or anything. Obviously you want to create your own game, so I'll just leave it as it is. Alright, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.